This podcast is brought to you by Blossoms PPC, your trusted partner for promotional apparel and uniforms. Since 1998, we've been manufacturing high-quality t-shirts, caps, and bags in bulk with competitive pricing and timely delivery. Visit www.blossomspc.com for more details.
Welcome back to another episode at the Backbenchers podcast. Today with us we have the co-founder and the chief marketing officer at SMOOR. So usually at the beginning of the segment we ask our guests that, were you a backbencher back in school and college?
In fact, I wasn't. I would sit right in the front and I was a teacher's pet. I don't know whether I qualify to be on your episode, but that was me.
So where did you do your schooling and where did you go to college?
So I'm basically from Chennai. So I did my schooling and my college in Chennai. I did my BCom degree, got married, moved to Bangalore, and have been here ever since.
Were you always interested in marketing?
In fact, never. But I the thing that I love the most is talking to people, like meeting people, talking to them. So I never had like a career thing in mind because, back then I had little kids and all of that. But opportunities fell in my lap wherein, it was, I got an opportunity to work in a hotel for a while. And the only reason I walked out of home to do this was to pass my time. You just wanted to do something with your life and create that little bit of an identity. That was the reason I did that. So I actually worked in a hotel in banquets as a wedding planner for 7 years and took a sabbatical, and then SMOOR happened.
So your journey from wedding planner to CMO of SMOOR, it's been quite a journey, and they're honestly on opposite ends of the spectrum. How did that go about?
So the thing is, when you have this eye for detail and eye for everything beautiful, like even when I started working for SMOOR in 2010, the main reason why I was excited and attracted to the brand was the reason because, there's this concept of having Belgium chocolate where these guys came from Australia and they wanted to create this whole concept of introducing true chocolate to the Indian market. So I found the whole concept very interesting, and that was the reason I said, let me try my hands at it. So, the main thing is you like things to look nice. That was the whole idea behind whether it's working in a hotel or working in a chocolate company where, in the beginning, of course, when we started, it was like, wow, selling chocolates, it doesn't sound very exciting. But, we made it exciting. So that's the fun of it.
So when you got the opportunity to become CMO of SMOOR, what was your reaction? Like how did that go about?
It's been a long journey from 2010 till date. When I started, I was a consultant in the company. I joined for sales. I did, whatever network I had, I wanted to introduce that network to SMOOR. It was called Bliss back then. The brand was called Bliss. Of course, the registered company is now Bliss Chocolates India Private Limited. So when we got this whole idea of joining the company, it was only for pure sales. But then I absolutely fell in love with design. How your box should look, the colors that you use, the kind of ribbons that you use, the customer experience when they open that box of chocolates. All that excited me a lot. And then I moved on to marketing, and then of course that is history. But this is what made me and my journey very exciting. That whole concept of loving the way the product looks and the experience to the customer. So that was. It's like I can say it's been like a long journey, though it feels like it was just yesterday. But a lot of fun. Like you have product like this to play around with every day. Who won't love their job?
Absolutely. So when you started back in 2010, again when it came to luxury branding of chocolates, you were one of if not the first Indian chocolate maker to go down this road. Considering back then again it was just the big European ones. What kind of resistance did you face?
So, I have to bring this incident to light. When I met Vimal, who's our current CEO and founder director, I met him in Mantri Mall. We had a store there. I met him for an interview there. So the first question I asked him was, how much are you selling a piece of chocolate for? So he said it's priced at 45 rupees back then. Now, of course, we sell it for like 105. So the first thing I was like, Vimal, who's going to buy this chocolate at 45? Because, you know, people buy these little bars, small bars at 5 rupees, 10 rupees, and all of that. So I said, are you sure you'll be able to sell this kind of, this price point? And I remember he gave me a box of 16 chocolate. It was like our award winning box. He gave me this box and he said, take it home and come back and tell me if you want to join the company. So when I actually literally took the box home and I tried the product, then I understood what they were about. All the ingredients were basically playing on my palate. I knew that the quality these guys had invested in and all of that was like something else. And I also remember, there was this whole story about compound and couverture chocolate, which I love talking about even now. So, for a lay person, any chocolate that sticks to your palate is compound. So, it's full of vegetable fat. And these guys were doing chocolate that was high in cocoa butter content. And cocoa butter is healthy butter. So that's what they say when, they say chocolate is good for your BP, for your heart. They mean this chocolate.
Okay.
So these guys had invested those kind of ingredients, that kind of craftsmanship, and the chefs were from all over the world. So they brought all of that together and created this product. So when you try that first product, and I remember I tried the almond sensation, which is even today our hero chocolate. Then I knew why they're selling it at that price. And I said, okay, I also have the confidence that I'll be able to sell it at that price point. And even from the customer's point of view, like back then in 2010, I remember customers would be like, it's very expensive. What is so special about your chocolate? I'm getting the same thing at half the price. So, that time and energy that we spent as a brand educating the customer that why this product is so different from the regular product that you've tried, that was a lot of effort. And explaining the concept of couverture, which people today, know about because they're well traveled. And I remember there were customers back then who would tell me, Kanchan, your chocolate is bad quality because it melts very easily. But because of the fact that it's melting, it's great quality. So that now they tell me. Now customers will ask me, what is the cocoa butter percentage? How dark is your chocolate? The darker, the better. So they know that. So I feel that SMOOR has, in fact, added to that knowledge. Because back then, like you said, there was hardly anybody doing this kind of business. And a hot chocolate, if you guys know, it's like
100%.
it like warms the soul.
I don't think I've ever found any. Yeah, I don't think
It's the
there's any
best hot
comparison.
chocolate,
I think not even in India, if you ask me, anywhere in the world.
I think the first time we had it was at the Siddharthanagar branch, and it was
Dude, so the first time I think I had it was here with Afan and Kamran.
okay.
So I have two of my best friends from school. We have this ritual where we meet like maybe once in 2 weeks at SMOOR. We come post 9 and just get like the caramel hot chocolate.
Isn't it mad? Like
It's the best.
Yeah.
I remember I went to the Godiva Cafe at I think Emirates Mall in Dubai.
Yeah.
I was craving for SMOOR hot chocolate. I told my Bhabhi, I'm like, I want some good hot chocolate. She's like, I'll take you there. We went there, and even that wasn't nothing compared to the SMOOR one.
I love it. Thank God I'm doing this because I love what you guys are saying. So, I also feel that I went to, I was in Switzerland. Imagine, I've had hot chocolate there in Stad. And I was standing right in front of that cafe and I was saying, my God, my SMOOR hot chocolate is 100 times better than this. So, I think that is like something that we've done and nobody's been able to match that.
So you mentioned again, like your marketing journey has essentially been a lot more about educating the customer. So how did you go about that education process? Because again, you mentioned it. I mean, when you tell it to us, it just sounds very simple. But as you said, convincing someone to spend maybe 50 rupees for a small piece of chocolate when they could get like a big bar for 5 rupees. How did you go about educating them?
So, those little things like we used to create these groups like private customers of banks, HNIs. We used to have these little groups and we had an outlet in UB City, I remember. We used to get them together. We used to have chocolate tasting sessions. Like we would place different kinds of chocolate in front of them and we would tell them now, try the product and you tell us what you think. So rather than, like we've always done this, rather than we telling, you what I'm doing, you try the product and you tell me what you think about it. So I think that really worked for us, when they were like, yeah, this product is melting, it's vanishing from our mouth, there's something special, I'm getting a woody note. It's just like wine. You have these woody, fruity notes to wine. The same thing happens in case of chocolate. Like when you taste just chocolate with no flavors added to it, you can literally get it because we use a lot of single origin chocolate which comes from Ghana, Tanzania, Madagascar. So when you have, you put that one piece in your mouth, you literally know that this is different from this. So we did all of that with a lot of our usual customers who were coming in and asking questions. So that really gave them the faith that these guys are doing something different and they're doing something premium. That's how we've got that tag for ourselves, where we call ourselves a premium chocolate brand. So, like you said, it sounds like today I can just narrate it in a story, but we had to do this over and over again, for the customer to build that trust. More than that, it's also about packaging. You see our packaging is like, it's my life. You see every color of the box that, I would actually get into the Pantone, the ribbon color, the butter sheet that sits on it. We use food grade for all our packaging. So you open that box and I want that twinkle in a person's eye. And they look at that box and say, wow. So that was what we won, doing all these little things. Because see, SMOOR is also a brand that you like to gift. As when if you have a celebration, you want to give somebody a nice cake. I've seen people coming and saying, we buy it from SMOOR. So you hold a lot of sentiment towards that particular gift that you want to give someone. So when that gift reaches that person, they have to have that wow factor that the giver has given me something really special. So that's what we created. We played with the emotion of the customer and stood by it. Not that we're saying something, something and portraying something else. Whatever we say, that's why we call ourselves True Kovicha Chocolates, and we always add the caption True Chocolate, True Story, so that whatever we tell you is 100% truth. So
And I think it's safe to say that SMOOR has revolutionized the Indian chocolate landscape.
100%. Like a first, probably, I think the first mover when it comes to Indian chocolate.
that's true.
So could you take us through the process? So like you spoke about the detail-oriented product, right? When a customer opens the package and the feeling or the sensation they get, could you take us through how SMOOR actually crafts that? How do you come up with what packaging to sort of?
So basically, we look at a lot of trends, because for us, innovation is key. I can't stay stagnant. I have to keep doing fun stuff all the time. Because today, when you look at international trends, also they change so fast. Now, today, if you look at the Dubai chocolate, it's absolutely gone viral. Everyone's talking kunafa, pistachio. So you have to stay relevant. You have to keep trending and doing different things. So we really excel in that. So what happens is we have a marketing calendar. So based on the calendar, we pick the product. Now, if it's a Valentine's Day, we will look at a lot of strawberry and pink, and so we come up with products, and then we have an R&D team who literally works on these recipes, creates products for us to try. We have a trying panel. We have a lot of these Gen Z kids in the office who are very excited about anything new, and we're trying and we're giving feedback. I also have a set of customers who love coming for our tasting sessions. So if you'd like to be included,
I think we'd love to sign us up for that.
so just come, they just try the product, give us feedback. Some would say maybe it needs to be a little more bitter because today everyone loves lesser sugar in their product and all of that. So we take in the feedback, then the final product is developed, given to our packaging department. We have literally like an in-house packaging department who decides what kind of a box the product goes into. And that is supposed to be food grade, that has to be travel friendly, and of course, with our Indian weather, it's very difficult to send product without it melting. You're playing with a product which is absolutely sensitive to temperature variation. So that is something that's why we have this specialized department that you have ice gel pack sitting at the bottom of the box, and you have your product sitting on top, and then there's everything is food grade so that you're absolutely 100% compliant. And then when it reaches the customer's hands, it needs to reach in the perfect condition. It can't be like all over the place. So we do a lot of transit trials, to ensure that we follow that entire norm. Post that is when the box KLD is developed, and then I have an in-house design team who works on what happens on the design of the box. So there are lots of things that we sit and brainstorm. I think the colors should be this. We use a lot of ingredients if you see on our packaging, so that when you have that one look, you know exactly what is inside the box. Whether it's a chocolate bar which has berries, so then we'll use a lot of raspberry, blueberry, and you'll have a very nice flashy color on it. And then same thing if you're using pistachios. We've done a lot of pistachio kunafa product now, which has a lot of green on it. So that the perception, we don't want to confuse the consumer, but one look tells you exactly what I'm doing. And if you see, our language is botanicals, because we want that very happy feel. We want that celebration feel to come out. So if you see, there are a lot of florals, there are ingredients, there are cocoa pods that we use on the boxes to convey what the brand is all about. So then we have prototypes coming in, and then of course once we approve the prototypes, then we go into final production. And little things like foiling of the logo, and doing special effects on the ingredients so that they stand out and they pop up. Those things we give a lot of importance to. And then we have ribbon colors, and so that is the attention to detail, that when we see our bags, the final bag that the customer carries the product in, even that we give a lot of importance to. Like if someone is carrying a SMOOR bag, you'll know from far, because the colors are so pretty.
It pops out.
So yeah, so I just love our packaging.
I have a question. I mean, it's one thing that, like, based on all the entrepreneurs that we've had in the podcast, if there's been one common theme, it's that they're all absolutely obsessed with what they do. So, how obsessed do you think you are with chocolates?
I am. I think, if you check, I'll have more chocolate in my bloodstream than blood itself. Because, we breathe the product, we live the product. So, the funny thing is, even when I'm on holiday, I am looking at things and I'm thinking SMOOR. What if I can do this? So I think it just becomes part of your DNA. And also, I always believe that if you enjoy something, then these, like I said, these 15 years feel like nothing, because you've just enjoyed the journey, and you're just so proud of what you've created. Because today, when I tell people that I work for SMOOR, you should see the smile on their face. They're like, oh, we love SMOOR. So that's what we want to hear. And we feel we've succeeded in what we wanted to create. So that's the fun bit. And that adrenaline that you feel, like I am still okay. You should meet our CEO. You should maybe do a podcast on him. He comes with some energy every morning into the office, which is crazy. We asked him, Vimal, what did you eat for breakfast? Because he's like every day wanting to do something exciting. So maybe it just passes on. It's very contagious. And all of us share the same DNA. So, and I have to bring this. I have to tell you all about this incident. So when I met Vimal during my interview in Mantri, first of all, he didn't want to look at my CV. He said, "I'm not interested." He said, "You just talk." And then I told him that I'm from Taj, and I've dealt with a lot of customers and all of that. Then of course I asked him, what is your strategy to sell? So when I basically went to ask for him, I said, I'm here to see the director. So there was this man standing at the counter. He was washing cups and saucers with like a napkin on his shoulder. So I'm like, I'm here to see Vimal. So he said, I'm Vimal. I said, no, I'm talking about the director. So he said, no, I'm Vimal. So, like he was literally washing stuff. And so it started there. So everything that we do today, that's the kind of passion we carry. During Diwali, you should see the whole team is literally in the production facility packing boxes for our customers, because we enjoy doing it. It becomes like one big party. And when Diwali is successful or Christmas is successful, we take full credit, because everyone has added that little touch of whatever they do best to the entire packing room, the production, everything. So it's beautiful. You should see what happens. So I think Vimal has started this entire that love for the brand, and when you see that, it just passes on to everyone else.
You think that, again, because your head office is attached to like a really big outlet of yours. Do you think that sort of contributes
It
to like
definitely does.
the hype of the
But
office?
earlier, it was attached to our production facility. That was even better because every evening, I remember at 4 o'clock, we'll get the smell of chocolate, we'll get the smell of cakes, we'll get the smell of bread. Fresh bread smells divine. So that was even more exciting. So here, of course, it's lovely because you see your final product and you see your packaging displayed. And when somebody comes and says, "What a beautiful box," it just makes me excited to do more better work in future. So yeah, this is a plus point.
There's a lot of misconception around marketing where people think it's just coming up with a fancy campaign and just like produce like promoting it on social media. But as again, we studied in marketing, and as you've spoken about, marketing is a big process from finding the target audience to actually customizing the product, like getting the right packaging, all of that. Like it's a very tedious process and is extremely hands-on. How have you managed to do so?
So the thing is, see, if you ask me, till few years ago, marketing was very traditional. You make a great product, you invite somebody, I mean, they would talk about it, you give somebody. But now, of course, marketing has got like a huge portfolio. You have influencers, you have referral marketing, you have target marketing, you have ads that your people are talking about. So first thing is, I think, you need to do all of it. You need to do a little bit of everything, but the best thing that works is organic stuff. That you give the customer the best product. Your customer is the biggest marketer for you. Like today, you are satisfied, you go and tell 10 people about your experience. Those 10 people tell another 10 people. So imagine my reach grows. So we started like that, where we just wanted the customer to get an amazing experience. That's the reason for us, customer is king. And you should see Vimal sitting in every customer focus, like all the feedback that comes from the customers, whether it's from our online platforms or from wherever, from Google. We sit and analyze each one of them. So he's sitting and understanding who is satisfied with what we need to do. So that I think is the biggest marketing exercise anyone can do. So one satisfied customer is like wins like a lottery for you. So
Again, so when it comes to satisfying the customer, like a great product is one thing, but that's probably just 50% of the entire experience. There's a lot that goes behind it. So, like, I'm assuming again, because you've given so much of an emphasis on creating a great customer experience, you've played a big part in every single thing, like, from like the not just the packaging, but like the way the store is designed and all of that. Can you walk us through that?
yeah, so every touch point plays a very big role. Whether it's your own website, whether it's your product listed on Swiggy or Zomato, whether it's that offline customer who's coming in, the way he's greeted, the way your place looks, the way it smells, the way every little thing, the way the order is taken, the way the product is served, your cutlery, your crockery, your experience when they're taking away a product. I think all of this, even when the product is delivered, we give a lot of importance to like little things that make the customer, like we'll make now for Easter we're planning a campaign where you have a single egg, an Easter egg that will go in every order of ours, just like a surprise element for all our customers. So these things I think play that extra bit of that exciting role in their lives. And you stand apart from any other brand because the product anyone can land up making.
Yeah.
But that extra, that service, that warmth, the homely feeling of a place that you can come to every day. That feeling that you can put up your feet and sit in the lounge and have fun, whether you're coming with your friends or your family. And the other fun thing is you can come with like any age group I've seen, they come and have fun. From the oldest, like when I come, like so many times I come and work from the lounge. So I'll be sitting on one chair and watching everybody, and you see different kind of people. Like I've seen parents bringing their school kids because they finished their last exam. Then you'll see somebody who did very well. I mean, if the PTA went very well, you'll see that group. You see a lot of moms dropping their kids to school and coming and chilling here. You see corporates doing their stuff, and they're having like nice cheesecakes and cold coffee and stuff like that, and while they're working. So when you feel you can cater to so many different kind of people, that makes it a very a very evolutionary brand, that you can do a lot of things for different age groups. That makes it so. A lot of people ask me, what is the kind of TG? What age groups? It's very difficult for me to put a finger on that and say that, I cater to only this age group, because I've seen multiple kind of people having fun. So I think it's that experience that you create for anyone that walks into your lounge or buys from you. If that experience is similar everywhere, you've created a brand.
I have a question that just popped into my head now because while we've been speaking the entire time, my eyes keep going towards the packaging there. Because after you mentioned the packaging thing, like, was there like again, a lot of people see marketing as just an art, but when you speak to like a pro marketer, they will always say that while it is an art, there are certain elements that make it a science. So it's been a trial and error process for you to select like the right packaging, the right colors, and all of that. But if you were to start your own, like let's say like you sold Smooth, and you were to start a chocolate company from scratch, how would you go about with the marketing, the packaging, and the entire like customer experience?
I can't, first of all, I can't separate myself from SMOOR. That's too far fetched. But if you ask me this question, I still think packaging plays a very, very big role in. So, designing the right kind of packaging that catches the customer's eye. Like it has to look very pleasing. Like the first thing is like when you look there and you see the kind of colors we play with. First of all, they're not clashing with each other. They are different, but they are still synchronizing and coming together. So every time we design something, we keep that in mind. Even the way the box opens, all that is really important. There's a story of the product on the packaging, like which tells you all the pain that whole product and the pack has gone through to come into your hands. So that the customer needs to understand, that it's come, these are the ingredients I've used, this is the process. Like we have a bar which is called the blended bar, we used to call it the Mayan bar. That bar is literally created in a stone grinder, which is like a dosa, like a batter. So where you have chocolate and flavor that goes into that stone grinder, and it's ground for hours together. So when you taste the product, it's got that beautiful flavor of either vanilla or coffee or whatever, and still doesn't, you can't taste the pieces of the flavor, but you get the flavor so distinctly. So that's the kind of impact the product has. So you have to justify the entire thing with giving it a proper attire. That's what we feel. So a product so great deserves that kind of packaging. So that's why you see we make it very, very happy and very, very colorful, and in a way that everything talks the same language. So today a lot of people look at packaging and say, we know that's a SMOOR box, because you've created that identity for the pack itself. So that's the
If you could break down like maybe three elements that you use to create good packaging, what would those be?
I would say the KLD itself is very important.
KLD?
It's the key line design. So basically, how the box opens. Whether the flap goes up, because the thing is, the box needs to be easy to open. The minute you're struggling with how to open the box, I think you've lost half your the battle is lost there. So the ease of opening, and yet it being not tamper proof, because today you need the product sitting so that it's packed in such a way that nobody can play around with it, because you're dealing with a food product here. So it needs to be absolutely tamper proof. So I think the way the pack opens is important. Second thing is the ingredient story. I think it's very important. See, today I'm looking at that and I know I'm trying to sell a product with this flavor. So that is something I give a lot of importance to. And third thing is the ease of a customer even carrying it. It can't be a very, very bulky box. It has to be sleek, easy for them to carry, easy to handle. Colors for me visually play a very, very important role. And of course you have your brand guidelines that you can't go against. Like I said, today when somebody looks at my box, they should know it's a SMOOR box. That's the kind of attention to detail we give. These are the 3 points that we would cover.
If like if you again like if you look at SMOOR as you mentioned, it targets all age groups. There's no like specific age group as such. But if you were to, let's say, like if SMOOR were to launch like a mass premium version of itself that could go on like quick commerce and all these other like lines of distribution, how do you go about doing that? Like this is a hypothetical. If you had the
No, we are doing it. We are doing it. So we are planning to get on to quick commerce.
okay,
So with easy products, which are easy on the pocket, small servings, because today less is more is the concept. You don't have to have like a really large bar. Smaller formats that work well, very trendy flavors. You know, like it's nice to play around with exciting flavors. Like, see, we've done something for Holi where we did like a Thandai tres leches, which people love because you're bringing this fusion of two different cultures also together. We've done things where you have pepper in your chocolate, we have chili in your chocolate. So I think it's just doing exciting stuff. So we are working on an entire range for QCom. We're already on marketplaces like Amazon and stuff like that. But for quick commerce, we're developing a range of product that would, because today everyone's buying everything on quick commerce. So that's what we're looking at doing.
a follow up to that, where do you get these ideas?
I think all over. Today, the exposure, like when you're traveling, you're looking at product. When there are a lot of customers that give you these ideas. So, when I'm going out, talking to people, they would tell me that, I wish SMOOR would do something like that. So we bring back those ideas and tell my R&D team, why don't we launch that? Instagram has gone crazy. Today, you see all the trends are like viral, so we pick up little things from here. We add that SMOOR touch to it and we create.
How do you screen the ideas? Because again, you mentioned that like Instagram, again, like traveling abroad or customers bringing you like getting you ideas. But the thing is, a lot of the concepts that work in the West or would work in other countries might not work in India, and like Bangalore too. So how do you screen ideas and how do you add the small touch to it?
So what happens is exactly like you said, we had these international chefs. I remember there was one chef who came down from Australia and she wanted to see real Bangalore. So I remember I took her to Nagarpet and she was shocked looking at the cows on the road and, all of that. So she was having fun while she was trying product here and there. So I was like, I also wouldn't risk having anything on the street. She said, no, I'm used to it. So I remember we stopped at this guy makes the milk, kesar milk, and he'll take the milk and he'll play with it, and he sells it on the street. So she tasted that. So it was like a badam milk with the flavor of saffron. She created that badam milk chocolate for us. So while it was a brilliant product, what happened was it didn't work very well for us because it's a flavor that everyone is used to. So you tasted the product so often that you relate to it, so you don't feel it's exotic. So I think sometimes when you pick ingredients from your kitchen, though I think it's important to have them, but you can't survive on them. But if you do something like a hazelnut janduya, it's just very exotic and people haven't heard of it, so they love it. They want to try it. Like we did, we've done, like I said, Horlicks chocolate. We've done garam masala thin, where we used curry leaves and coconut to create these crisps which were gluten free. So it was very intriguing for a customer, like, oh, how will this taste? After all, it's curry patta which we use in our own kitchens. So maybe people would try it, but you can't survive on this. I think you need to give them exotic stuff. So that's where we do the entire screening. Like I remember when COVID happened, everybody was talking about turmeric as an immunity booster. So at that point in time, we used ingredients like ashwagandha, tulsi, amla, and to create barks which were great for immunity. So we added haldi in that. Now we at home we have haldi on a regular basis. But what made it exotic was like internationally everybody was having turmeric. And today turmeric latte is like very, very big everywhere in the world. But for us, haldi is like a thing that we consume every day in our kitchens. So while it's great to have a product which people are comfortable and they relate to, I think it's important to do like a little bit of a twist because chocolate is a very, very international product itself. You don't relate to chocolate being like an Indian
Correct.
product. Today, people are doing bean to bar and all of that, where they want to create chocolate from Indian cocoa. So we also will be doing that in our new production facility. But we still feel that chocolate is a very, very international product. So it's nice to add that touch to it. That's where people ask me which part of Europe you guys are from. So I say, no, it's a Bangalore grown brand. So we created this brand from Bangalore, which is like the, the most fun part of SMOOR.
I actually have a follow up question on that. You spoke about how you have like a fusion food. So, and you've also traveled a lot. So, how do you think the Indian chocolate consumer is different than that of maybe not Indian?
I think now if you see the customers, like I think catching up with the trend of what's happening internationally. Uh, Earlier, I remember people were loving the whole milk chocolate and white chocolate trend. Now you see, maybe it's also a status thing to say, I only eat dark chocolate. I only like dark chocolate. But now you see people moving to there. But I think now with during Diwali and all that we see, even during gifting, you will see a lot of people have switched from the mithai culture to the chocolate culture. So during Diwali, we go crazy. We've done mithai chocolate. So I did a kaju katli truffle. We've done a motichur laddu truffle. So we want to bring that tradition of mithai, but in the modernity of chocolate. So we've done that because the Indian consumer accepts that very well and they like it because we're not breaking free from the tradition of doing, mithai, but we're doing it with a product that has a longer shelf life. So that's how we adapt and we, make people relate. See, today if you're walking into a store also, you don't want to be so alienated with the flavor that you see. You need to feel that, oh, I know this taste. I know the flavor. So while you give them that, you still give them the taste of like single origin chocolate, which we get from maybe a Ghana or a Java or a Tanzania. So that's how you bring two different cultures together.
Coming to the sourcing of the chocolate, I mean, we've all heard that when it comes to like these farms in the African subcontinent, there's a lot of child labor and there's a lot of like unethical practices that happen. So how do you go about like picking the right farm?
See, chocolate, like today, if you ask me about chocolate, my God, it's like such a situation that we are in because I think about a year ago, cocoa prices went up like skyrocketing. So, what we were buying at a certain price literally doubled. So for us, that was something that we had to really fight with, and we are still like trying to see how we can match the pricing without giving the customer, that kind of price rise. So of course, the whole proportion of having ingredients in the chocolate like nuts, we increased. We had lesser chocolates so that you don't land up paying a higher price unnecessarily. So while we were doing that, these little things is very very difficult for us to draw a line with, but we buy from like distributors who do like very very good quality chocolate. So that is the only thing we can do because we don't buy directly. Now we are also trying to support the Indian farmers, and trying to get locally sourced chocolate so that we have like a little section of ours which also does this. But like I said, we're still, trying to deal with the whole
Price rise.
yeah, which is very difficult to pass on to the final customer.
I read this thing once that said that maybe within like by the time like the next generation comes in, chocolate like cocoa beans might become something that like could go extinct.
I hope not. I don't think that would happen because there are a lot of issues, I mean, see, if because it's only grown in that particular belt, so you can't like literally grow it for the perfect crop. So there is a little bit of limitation, but I don't think that will ever happen. None of us will allow it that to happen because there's no substitute for chocolate.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just have like this is more of a health question, but you mentioned in the beginning that there are essentially two kinds of chocolates. One that's made out of cocoa butter, another one with vegetable oil. Like, could you just educate us about like the differences and like what makes the cocoa butter chocolate a healthier version?
See, cocoa butter itself is supposed to be a healthy butter. So, if you consume cocoa butter, it doesn't harm your system like your vegetable fat. Like all your hydrogenated fat and all of that come from vegetable fat, which is there in the compound chocolate. So what happens is a lot of players, to get the same kind of flavor and to sell it at a better price, they may use your vegetable fat. So it's sadly, even if you're selling dark chocolate which has vegetable fat, it is not good for your system. So we need to be aware. Like I said, as a layperson, when I joined the company years ago, I did not know the difference between coverture and compound. That's why we keep talking about it. Even on Instagram, we see that we literally keep repeating ourselves that as a consumer, you guys need to be aware of what you're consuming. And today, I think Gen Z also is very, very, they look at the label at the back. How much protein, how much butter, rather than fat. How many calories, how much energy, how much carbohydrate in the product. So it's good that everyone's getting a little aware. But like I said, the basic test is you put that piece in your mouth. If it sticks to your palate, you know it's fat. If it vanishes from your mouth, it is butter. So you have to be smart and read the claims. And also, there's another thing: any pack that has choco written on it is compound, is vegetable fat. You cannot use the entire word chocolate there. So you know that it is not cocoa butter if you see the word choco anywhere. So that's another thing which the regulations have been. They don't allow you to use the word chocolate if it is not true chocolate.
Additionally, we saw recently that Ranveer Singh launched a chocolate called Super You, which also has 10 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So, could we maybe like see like sort of chocolates with protein? Is that a thing?
Yeah, definitely it's on the cards. Chocolate which has less sugar, chocolate which has a lot of nuts, cranberries, and stuff which is good for your system, and chocolate that has protein. We've done it for a lot of players. We've contract manufactured for a lot of people who do health related chocolate, but we are going to be doing it very soon, because today we see that everyone wants to eat something, and why not? I mean, if I can have like a piece of chocolate every day and I can claim that it's healthy, why not?
Do you think that's going to again transform the gifting culture? Because you mentioned earlier again that, I mean, we've all seen it where, like, as you mentioned again, mithai has been replaced by s'more hampers. So do you think that, like, by doing something like this, there could be a point in time where not just like s'more, but the entire industry could shift to like healthier alternatives of not just consumption but gifting?
I don't think everyone will ever shift. See, you have to keep that indulgence in mind. Now, if you're having give you an example of a cheesecake. See, when I'm eating that cheesecake, I want to eat the cheesecake, the real cheesecake. I don't want to eat something that is sugar free, like substituted with blah, blah, blah. Maybe if I'm doing something every day, then I would need that change. So I don't think there will be a complete shift. There will be people, like, if I have to eat something on like not so regular basis, I rather do the real thing. If I have to eat that complete ice cream which I believe in, I would just eat it, rather than trying to substitute and spoiling the flavor of that, the authentic ingredient in it. So while there are like last Diwali also, we had a lot of customers asking us, can you give us some healthy products? So they have a mix of both. So then we add trail mixes in our chocolate and we make it as healthy as we can, by giving them that. But nobody has ever asked me for a complete shift.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I don't think it will happen in future also.
have, have a I mean, I read this thing once. It said that if you try to sell to everybody, you're going to end up selling to nobody. And is that something you're afraid of? Because again, you're, as you mentioned in the beginning, like the target audience is more is like a very diverse crowd. And if you're going down the healthier, like I would say healthy, but the healthier alternative too. Are are you worried that like that could sort of, I'd say like dilute the brand equity of Smooth?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Because what I think is, see, when you do a healthy mix of everything on the menu, see, like on the menu today, I would have like fried rice and noodles and whatever. And along with that, I have an avocado on toast. I have a tofu wrap. So I have something for everyone. I have a protein bowl, which is like amazing, on the menu. So similarly, I would have like something which is like a gluten-free cake, like a pastry, which I do, which is like an intense 70% we call it. So it's gluten free. So it caters to everyone who is gluten intolerant. But I also have a cheesecake which is like, the real authentic cheesecake that I would talk about. So I'm not worried about that, because like I said, I'm not here to cater to everyone, but we would love to be an aspirational brand. Like I want someone to say that, today we use this brand, but tomorrow I would love to, use a SMOOR. So that does it for you. Even if they're using us not so often, it's fine. But that aspiration of getting that SMOOR product in your life is ultimate. So that's what we do, like a little bit of everything, but not like we're changing everything drastically to suit any particular requirement. We haven't done that in so many years. Of course, we keep changing, we keep innovating, but if you see, our standard products like our Belgian truffle cake, our pralines have still remained what they are.
How do you find that balance? Because if you look at like heritage brands, like not just in the food industry, but like in any industry, like the old school heritage luxury brands, they have a few classics. But new age brands have like this appeal of like bringing a lot of dynamic and new things, and you're combining both. So how do you go about that mix? Because again, you can't sell a lot of products. You have to have like a finite amount. How are you able to find that balance between the classic and the new?
So if you see some of our traditional, what we started with, they're still there. They haven't gone out of vogue. They haven't changed. People still come back to me for that hot chocolate that was introduced by, the team in 2008. So it was still, so I of course joined in 2010, but that still remains the same. We have our pralines that have been there. Of course, we keep playing around with the flavor, but like I spoke about the almond sensation, it's still there and it's still great. Now, we've done a lot of things which are new, but we still ensure that the product is still chocolate and is still great chocolate. So different forms of chocolate we use. So today, when we do bars, today we've done it in the form of a bark, and then we have a coated chocolate, like you have your almonds coated with chocolate. So you're basically using the same product, but you're playing around in different formats. So that's what you're doing. That's why we haven't shifted from the core of the brand. Today, if you ask me what is SMOOR known for, I would even blindly in my sleep tell you chocolate. All the other things can stay on the menu and whatever, but a chocolate dessert, a chocolate beverage, a chocolate like a hot chocolate, a chocolate praline, a bark, the drinking chocolate. So these are the things we do, but it's all skewed around chocolate. So our classics have still remained, our core has still remained. But yeah, to stay relevant, to bring the customer to you again and again for something new that they would also like, we keep doing little things, especially for festivals like now Easter is coming up, so we're doing a lot of fun stuff. Again, a lot around chocolate. So
Do you like when food started off? Did it start off as a cafe or again a lot of packed products? How did it start off?
yeah, so initially, I think when we started, we had one outlet in Whitefield. It So we started a cafe. The whole idea was, you know, um, uh, the core team was very very particular that someone walks into the store, sits, enjoys that cup of hot chocolate, and the whole experience of sitting and enjoying the product was what they had aimed at. Whether it's a dessert, like you get that half an hour that you're spending with yourself. You're enjoying every bite of what you've ordered. So that was the whole reason they started that cafe, and it was a very very beautifully done cafe even back then. They had these chandeliers. They had everything brown and gold, and the color of chocolate. We had very very few boxes of chocolate where you would pack these pralines and take home. So that was all we had, and of course the rest was our cakes and all of that. Again, the box with the cake was very good. So packaging, while they gave a lot of importance back then because it was a beautiful box like a dome, even back then, but we didn't have so much of variety. So today, if you see, of course, we've added on to a lot of packs, but the whole concept was for a person to come into and back then there was no delivery and all of that. So when he or she comes into the store, how they enjoy that experience around the product was the whole vision of the brand.
Uh, again, as a follow up to that, like a lot of companies when they go after a certain sector, it's either like SMB or like a D2C kind of thing where like you're releasing like a range of products, and you guys have done both. You've built a lot of cafes and you've gone about the packaging product route too. Like how are you able to like go about that? Because again, like it's a big constraint on resources, it's a constraint on manpower, and again when it comes to marketing, which you're heading, like marketing a cafe is different as compared like marketing a range of products. How do you go about doing all of that?
So if you see, if there are different platforms for all of these. So if you look at our SMOOR.in, that's our website where people can buy from. We have a lot of CPG product. That's all your pre-packed product that people can order from
CPG?
there. It's the pre-packed
Okay.
products, what are like generally packed. So those you can order from the website. We have a few cakes and of course more of the celebration cakes. If you look at our Swiggy Zomato, that's got a completely different mix. It's got food, it's got beverages that people can get them delivered. We've got ice creams, we've got pastries, and all of that. So we don't do too much of we don't concentrate too much on the pre-packed products on your Swiggy and Zomato. While for QCOM, we are planning to do again, pre-packed. So I think we've got these different platforms that you can play with. That's why today when people ask me, uh, who's your competition, it's very very difficult for me to like put like a finger on one brand and tell them that yeah, this brand is total competition, because of course there are great players in the market which do different things. But someone like us who, you walk into the store, you can have a great meal, you can order an amazing dessert, you can sit and just have coffee, you can have that one cup of hot chocolate, you can pick up a cake for someone's birthday, you can buy a hamper for someone, all of that for someone to do at the same time in one store. I don't think anyone of that caliber is there in the market. That's what I think. So that's made it very special for us. And I believe that you need to create that one stop shop for, like, when I'm having real estate of this kind. Nowadays the kind of stores that we built are really large. So to do justice to the store where you have, like, people enjoying themselves. Plus, if I want to pick up something for my friends and family, I still have that option of taking things home. That was the whole concept we wanted to create. Like, if I'm trying something and I want to, like, also take something home, that's the whole idea.
Was that intentional? So when you joined back in 2010, like I'm assuming you had like a concrete footpath of like what SMOOR would become. Do you think SMOOR has achieved that?
Definitely, because see, gifting was always very, very big for us. And like I told you, sometimes when we watch the customers today, everyone is celebrating something or the other in life. The little nothings, like I said, your first job, your first salary. People are doing, like, when you sit and watch them and you talk to your customers, you understand that there are these small victories that they're celebrating. So that was what we wanted to become known for. So when you're walking into the store and having a good time, your entire ambience becomes that. So when you think something fun, you want to go to SMOOR, and it becomes like a gifting destination. So today, if it's somebody's birthday or anniversary, I want them to think SMOOR, and that we've achieved. Because on the website also, we see so many times that we ask people, who are you ordering for? So they very rarely order things for themselves. You always say, they make it special and they want to gift someone SMOOR. So when you see that celebration aspect, we feel that is something that we've definitely had like a vision, and we've achieved that, because gifting is very, very big for us, and we see it more in, of course, the OLD, but the other months also, the October, November, December, we see that we're really big on gifting. But even if you see the other, months, there's something or the other people are picking up product for, which is like a celebration. So today we're planning to, in fact, launch an entire campaign where we use the caption "Celebrate More." On all our boxes, you'll see it. So that every product of ours is linked with some kind of celebration from that point.
Do you think India? Do you think because of SMOOR's like motto of "Celebrate More," India has been like the perfect place for you? Because India is a country of celebrations.
It's
Every other
perfect. And there are so many religions, there's so many different festivals. So there's something or the other happening every day. It's very, ask me about it, because all the time in my marketing calendar, So last month we were doing, this month we were doing Holi, we are doing Eid, and we are doing Easter together, because we want to cater to like all the fun occasions that you can think of. And today, thanks to the kind of gifting options we have, everyone's celebrating everything. So during Christmas, you see people buying, everyone's buying plum cake. Everyone's, buying the candy that we are, trying to do in the form of joysticks and stuff like that. So I think, that's what makes it fun. Like, it's a very, very colorful country, and, and it makes it all the more reason for you to do things like that, because you always feel you'll have a market. If you do things well, people will come and invest in you.
Are you planning on opening in maybe Dubai ever? Because again, if you look at it from the celebration angle, and you mentioned multiple religions, Dubai is a place that not just has multiple religions but multiple cultures.
Very cosmopolitan crowd.
Yeah.
I wish. I mean,
It
I
isn't
think
on the
Smooth
cards
seems
right
like a
now.
perfect
It seems-
place. It
Yeah.
seems like a perfect
And
place.
Rehan was actually talking about it. He wanted us to ask you if you plan to go across borders.
we want to. I mean, finally, it'll be great, because a lot of people who've come from Middle East, come here and say, "My goodness,
That's the
can't
exact
believe
reaction
that,
my bhabhi
yeah.
had. So she's been staying in Dubai from the past, I think, 10, 15 years. I mentioned earlier that she took me to the Godiva
Yeah.
cafe, said, oh, this. Then I got her to SMOOR, I think, 6 months back. And I made it at the hot chocolate. We came to this place, and she was just like, dude, this is insane. Because she's never been here. Like, the last time she was here was probably 10, 15 years back. And she's like, it's insane to think about that, like, Bangalore has developed so much.
So, my sister's friend, I remember she came from Dubai and she went back and she said, "Man, this SMOOR cafe is crazy. I've never seen anything like that in India."
Yeah.
So, it's a huge compliment for us, where we've taken the whole chocolate thing to like the next level. But I wish, things can happen in nothing like the fact that I could be like in a Dubai mall or whatever. Maybe soon, if we have another podcast in the next few years, I'll tell you, we made
That's
this
the goal.
We could shoot the next
Yeah,
one
That's
there.
the goal. We could shoot the
We
next
could shoot the
one.
next one in Dubai Mall.
I think that brings us to the ending of the podcast. Thank you so much for your time, and this
It's
has
a
been an
pleasure for
absolute.
me to talk and talk.
No, it's been amazing learning. It's been amazing learning. It's been amazing. I think
An
this was one
absolute
of the most.
masterclass, yeah.
Yeah, this was one of the most anticipated podcasts because we were actually supposed to stop shooting. So we have like a lot of content for the next 5 months. So we were actually not going to shoot any more episodes. But then when Tanish told that he listened, there's a chance that we can get a SMOOR co-founder in the podcast. Like everybody
Has to
said,
be
dude,
done.
we have to do it.
That's amazing. I'm glad I did what I did, because I was a little apprehensive, because like I said, I don't do too many of these, but I'm glad, because if I can add any kind of value to anyone by saying simple things about what SMOOR has done, I'm really happy. Glad I did this.
I think once again, thank you so much for your time.
been
And thank you
absolutely
so much
wonderful.
for creating SMOOR.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.